I want to take a moment to embarrass Thokozile a little bit, because I don't know if you know exactly who the superstar you are talking to right now. She is the executive secretary of the International Youth Parliament. There's more. She's also been recognized as the Mailing Guardian's 200 young South Africans to follow.
Wow.
But wait, there's more. She's also been recognized by the Obama Foundation for her leadership and the variety of different fora she participates in. And then my personal favorite is she was a former Mandela Washington Fellow.
Woo! Wow!
But the most important part, other than celebrating South Africa's democracy, of course, for the young folks, is to hear about the cool prizes. So for the grand prize winner, number one, there is a MacBook Pro on the table. For prize number two,
wish I could close this one.
For prize number two, it's an iPad, and prize number three is an iPad Mini.
On Route 96.2. Mondays to Fridays. 3 to 6 p.m. on TUTFM.
Oh, well, welcome back. 20 minutes before the hour, 4 o'clock on the station of domination, TUTFM 96.2. Your ultimate dad. Still chilling with the Tambalame Kansaki, Khali Ishari. And today, oh wow, I feel international somehow. On the line, I've got Thokozile Nkrumayo. Thokozile, hi, how are you? Hello, Tsago, unjani? Where Kulumuso? She's supposed to. I think we lost Togo. Please, let's try again. Togo, I think we lost Thokozile there, but then it seems like she's on. But then in studio, I'm joined by when I watch American series, right? They always say Madam Ambassador. Am I right?
Well, not just yet.
Huh?
Perhaps one day.
One day.
For me.
Oh, okay. So I'm joined by Heather Wright. Hi, Heather. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. So the whole reason, Khali, that Heather is here today, right? We got an email a couple of weeks ago from Chris Murray. So Chris was telling us about celebration of 30 years of democracy in South Africa. So now, that being Black History Month in February, so they're inviting anyone within the ages of 16 to 20 years to partake in an essay. No, you're too old for that. So please, to partake in an essay. So the essay will be derived from Martin Luther King Jr. To say, "I have a dream." So now we are in 30 years of democracy. Now we are going for another 30 years.
Yeah.
So you, as a youth of today, what dream do you have for South Africa in the next 30 years? So we are here to talk about that. First and foremost, welcome to TUTFM.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Let's start where this idea came from. Which gap did you see for you guys to come and say, listen, we want the youth of SA to partake in such a prestigious event?
Oh, great. So, as you mentioned, this is us really trying to bridge the gap between democracy in South Africa, democracy in the United States, and what are the different commonalities between our two countries. So, we are the United States currently in Black History Month, which we celebrate every February. But this year, there's a lot of parallels going on in our country. So, you are preparing for a large election. We are also preparing for a large election. And I think it's fair to say that on both sides of the ocean, we are having some issues with energizing young people about political participation, right?
Yeah. So
we are just looking at how can we be a positive force and getting people to think about that. And when we start back in January 15th is when we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
And so Martin Luther King Jr. is probably the preeminent civil rights leader in U.S. history. And so he had these two very important speeches. The first one you mentioned was, I have a dream. And so that was actually written and delivered prior to, people who look like me and, my ancestors and my parents, my grandparents, before they were able to fully participate in the political process in the United States. And so in the interim between those two speeches, there was the Civil Rights Act that was passed that basically codified that yes, people, regardless of what their background
and race
and whatever may be, that they are full citizens and entitled to full participation in the United States political process and U.S. life in general, right?
All right.
After that, he had the "Where do we go from here?" speech, and that's saying we have all these successes.
So where do we
go from here? Right?
I see it.
So he had these two speeches. I have a dream. So that dream is partially or fully realized.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
So what we are hoping that we see that this is a parallel also 30 years of democracy. Where does South Africa see itself going from here?
Absolutely. We've got, I think she's back on the Thokozile. Sisinjan. Yeah, no, I knew she speaks Zulu. Well, welcome to TUTFM 96.2. We've got Heather into the studio. We've got the silent Chris in studio as well. So, and you also got Simply G and Khali Shadi. So I'm gonna cross over to you, right? What does this essay from learners mean to you as a U.S. embassy?
Yes, thank you for having us. Good afternoon to you and everyone listening. I think, this is a very interesting time in South Africa. We stand at a very remarkable junction in time where we commemorate 30 years of democracy. So, to me, this looks like a very significant time, as significant as 1994. So, this time symbolizes a new era. I mean, this is an opportunity for us as young people to define another 30 years to come in South Africa. So this, of course, is a brilliant opportunity for young people to use their voice as much as they can. So why is this important? Why is this contest important? I think one of the most powerful tools that young people can use to participate in democracy and to shape the future of this country is to use their voice, because their voices are a powerful catalyst for positive change in South Africa and also globally. So I think this is an incredible opportunity for young people to make their voices heard and to advocate for a better, more inclusive South Africa. So these essays have the power to inspire change, to drive important conversations, and to influence the future of our nation.
Thank you, Heather.
I just want to take a moment to embarrass Thokozile a little bit.
Yeah?
Because I don't know if you know exactly who the superstar you are talking to right now. She is the executive secretary of the International Youth Parliament. There's more. She's also been recognized as the Mailing Guardian's 200 young South Africans to follow.
Wow.
But wait, there's more. She's also been recognized by the Obama Foundation for her leadership and the variety of different fora she participates in. And then my personal favorite is she was a former Mandela Washington Fellow.
Woo! Wow! Togo, can you what the music can be? So, I think the biggest gap here for this initiative to be done, in my own sense, right? We are facing a challenge of youth, the young people not voting, even when they are eligible to vote. I mean, right now, as we speak, we are running a campaign for the IEC where we are looking for people to register to vote for the elections. Now that even the president has already announced the election day. Do you think this essay, and I'm putting the question to both Togo and Heather, do you think this essay will motivate the youth to vote? Because it's one thing having their voice heard on the essay, but then having their cross on the ballot is another thing, because they don't want to do it.
I want to defer to Togo first, and then I will.
All right, cool. Togo?
Oh, yes. I looked at the statistics of voting registrations, and I realized that 71% of registered voters this year are young people. And what's interesting to me is that some of these young people were not even born 30 years ago, and probably most of them will be voting for the very first time. So I think because through this essay they will be laying bare all the challenges that they face as young people and the vision that they have for South Africa. That will drive important conversations amongst them, and to also encourage them to say that we cannot just put this on pen and paper, but we need to put it into practice. And the only way to do that is if we influence decision making through voting. I hope that's what the essay will do to young people as they participate in this context.
Absolutely. Heather?
And so just to support what Thokozile said, part of the reason we did this, we wanted to figure out how can we encourage young people to take the time to reflect about their democracy. And again, I mentioned this is something that we are, the U.S. is also grappling with as well. And so we thought, with the promise of some really cool prizes.
I saw that. That's why I'm so jealous.
That we might be able to get, young people in South Africa to kind of pause and take a moment and think about what it is that they really want for their country.
All right, so I'm going to ask, the South African politics, right, usually they'll always blame apartheid for the mishaps that we have in the current, like right now. And part of the people who are going to be voting, they were not even born in the apartheid. What can we do in your own ways, Togo and Heather, to shift that mindset of, because they don't know about it, they've never experienced, I never experienced apartheid.
Yeah,
I don't think they even did.
We were born after 94.
So first, I will defer to Toko and then give you my reflections after
Hi,
that.
Togo.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. Did you get the question?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is a lot of people, young people who are going to be voting for the first time right now, they were not part of apartheid, and now the politicians in South Africa, especially I'm not going to mention names. However, they will always blame apartheid for the mishaps that we are having right now. How do we shift that propaganda, or how do we shift that mindset for the young people right now, because they were not even there during apartheid?
Brilliant question.
Thank you. I asked brilliant questions. I know. Thank you.
So I always say that the dynamic has not changed much. As much as democracy was an opportunity for us to gain democracy, to gain freedom, this is still the same today. Still an opportunity for us to participate in decision making as young people. So the dynamic has not changed much. View it as also entering into a new era as much as it was in 1994. So, but most importantly, is that we want representation as young people. So we know that we make a significant portion of the population in South Africa. And so our viewpoints and concerns deserve representation in government or in decision making. So by voting or by participating in elections, this is our opportunity to make sure that our interests are taken into account.
True.
So legal apartheid, it happened within the past, but remember, this is also an opportunity for us to define the next 30 years in South Africa. And since we make majority of the population in South Africa is young people, it's in our hands to make sure that we define what South Africa should look like in the coming 30 years.
Absolutely.
So what I'll just kind of share the perspective, as a U.S. citizen and having these conversations, similar conversations with other U.S. my compatriots in the U.S. I don't ever want to forget that there was a time when my mother, when my grandparents, where my great-grandparents were not allowed to participate in the process. Yeah. And as a result, they were living under a system that was not fully serving their needs, wants, and aspirations. And I'm also acutely aware that I have grandparents and great-grandparents who participated in the civil rights struggle in the United States. So part of the reason I vote is because I feel like it's very important to honor that legacy and to honor their sacrifices and the challenges that they overcame to ensure that my mother had a better life and that I have a better life and that hopefully that my son will have a better life, even better life, right? So part of that, yes, there is this kind of like honor and legacy that I want to respect.
So profound, though.
But at the same point, it's very important when you look at the word democracy demos, and krasia. The roots are people's rule.
It's true.
Democracy only works for the people who vote. Democracy only works for people who participate.
Yeah.
So if you are unhappy about how a democracy is functioning for you, and then you decide to disenfranchise yourself, that democracy will never work for you.
Absolutely,
and it will continue to work for the people who participate.
You are that change that you want to see, right?
Exactly. And so sometimes, you win elections, you lose elections. You might be happy or unhappy with the result, but I think the important component is to never lose hope and to not give up such that you don't want to participate anymore.
Absolutely.
So the question that I have is a bit off topic, but it's also on topic, right? We know about the Black History Month. Well, I'm not sure if everyone in studio knows.
I know about them.
Black History Month. We know next month in South Africa we'll be celebrating Human Rights Month, right?
Yeah, true.
So I want to know the origin of Black History Month, because I think I have my own perception about it. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was the 21st of Feb, and it was 58 years after the assassination of Malcolm X. So is that the root of Black History Month, or there's another,
So,
and also, also to end on her question, I was speaking to a colleague of mine when we were so excited that you guys are coming from Monday. We've been excited, and I was telling him he does the show Groundbreakers from 7 to 9. It's a talk show. They speak about everything current affairs, and he got a bit pissed when by us like we were celebrating Black History Month. He was like, "Why can't we celebrate this the entire year? Why is it significantly around February?" So just to add on.
Okay, so there's plenty of people who are going to say like every month is Black History Month, right?
Yeah.
But just like South Africa, the United States is a tapestry of a variety of different people. And so if you look closely, you will see that there are different moments in time throughout the year that are dedicated to honoring, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and February happens to be for Black History Month. And so this is a time where we pause to reflect about what are the different contributions that African Americans have made to the to the U.S. experience. All right, and so the reason we have that is that sometimes it gets lost in school curriculum. Sometimes it gets lost in the day-to-day. And this is really just kind of taking that moment to think a little bit more specifically about what African Americans have contributed as well. But like I said, there are months that celebrate other minority groups as well in the United States.
So now it's time for us to sell this essay. Yeah, now we've been through the political spectrum of everything. Now, Togo, it's time for us to sell this essay to our kids who might be listening right now. So let's talk more about the essay. What's needed? When is the deadline? How should we structure things like that? All the important factors that we need to know.
Yeah, I think I'll chime in. And
you'll chime in. Okay.
All right.
She's still here, though. Okay, she's still here.
So what I would say is, first, please visit the U.S. Embassy's website, so za.usembassy.gov. There you'll find a link that has all of the rules and T's and C's and all the fun stuff. But we are looking for South Africans aged 16 to 20 to send us and record them reading their essays of 400 words or less that are sharing with us their hopes, dreams, aspirations for a positive South African future. We are requesting that when they record these video clips, that they upload them to something like YouTube, Vimeo, Instagram, or something like that, and send us the link rather than sending us the actual file, because we will not be able to accommodate all of those.
Let me jump in there. Sorry, I don't know if it's allowed, right? So when we went out as TUTFM to speak to the kids out in Akidu and Kiro, so what you're gonna do? I'm not sure if it's allowed. But what we are doing right now, recording this, those kids are going to come on Tuesday here to read out their essays. Is it allowed for us to upload it like this? Because they are coming to do their essays here. Yeah,
Absolutely.
4 of them are coming. No, it's 4 from one school and 4 from the other school are coming on Tuesday. So the conversation that we are having right now, they're going to be reading out their essays live on air to tell them like, let's submit that one.
No, absolutely. Again, and please don't, please be very uplifting in your constructive criticism to these young folks, right? But no, absolutely. We are encouraging people to use all the tools at their disposal. For example, I manage something called American Spaces, where these are different locations and libraries and community centers that have podcasting studios. And so we understand that this could be a bit of a challenge. So we are creating the opportunity to help some folks record and upload.
Okay.
So, but the most important part, other than celebrating South Africa's democracy, of course, for the young folks, is to hear about the cool prizes. So, for the grand prize winner, number one, there is a MacBook Pro on the table. For prize number two,
wish I could close this one.
for prize number two, it's an iPad, and prize number three is an iPad Mini. So we're really hoping that people will really take the time out to pull together some really strong essays, record them, and again, re-record them if you need to, but just make sure whatever the final submission you send to us is the final, because we won't have the capability to help you update those things.
Wow. All right.
So jealous.
From 9 provinces.
Oh, yes. Okay, more importantly, what I would say is we are looking for semifinalists from each province. So there will be 9 semifinalists that we will invite to Gauteng probably in mid-April to have the final award ceremony and to have the winners actually perform their speeches for us as well.
Meet the ambassador.
Wow. Wow, that's actually quite great. Togo, any advice that you'd like to give to the young ones who are going to be participating?
Yes, for sure. So, this is your vision, your country, and your future. So, as torchbearers of the next generation, this is an incredible opportunity for you as young people to use your voice to shape the narrative of our nation's future. So what I want to say is that this is your time to be bold. Through these essays, you can challenge the status quo. You can even dismantle systems of oppression. You can shape the future and what you envision for South Africa. So do not underestimate the power that you possess. You still need to create transformative change, and that can happen through this essay contest. So I wish all the young people that are going to be participating all the best.
All right, guys, the deadline for this submission is on the 29th of February, which is next week Thursday, at 11:30. Here it says 11:59, but in South Africa has load shedding and network might just so do it at 11:30. Make sure that your submissions are in. Heather, any last words before we cross over to news?
No, thank you. I just thank you for having us today, and we are looking very forward to seeing what South Africa sends us.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. We wish you all the best. We want to be in partnership for this thing in the long run, Chris. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you.
Togo.
Thanks for having us.
Siyabonga, sis.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Togo Zile together with Heather coming from the US Embassy, giving us great news around the Black History Month essay. What would you like to see a democratic South Africa be like in the next 30 years? The hashtag is, or maybe not, the heading is I Have a Dream. Where do we go from here? The deadline for this is going to be on the 29th of February 2024, 11:30, guys. I'm going to just trick this here a bit. It's 11:30. Just send through your submissions right there. We're going to put this on our social media, right, Sergio? The link is and everything. So if you cannot get hold of the US Embassy, just go through our social pages on Instagram and also Twitter. I know X. This guy's Pretoria guys, they change things. X and also on our Facebook page, we are going to put the link right there.
They changed that.
Huh?
A guy from Pretoria, to be specific.
Yeah, that's background. I think he was born behind the embassy there, headphones. Guys, thank you very much. I'm about to cross over to news. Anyway, it is the station of domination, TUTFM 96.2, your ultimate dial. Crossing over to the news with Bastana Mahapa, and of course traffic with Asnat Bela, and sports with Mpo Ndlovu. If you want to hear African languages, there's Tsonga, there's Tswana, and there's also Pedi. Brace yourself.
On Route 96.2. Mondays to Fridays. 3 to 6 p.m. on TUTFM.